The Black Hermit, detailed act by act summary. The Black Hermit 1968 is a play by Ngũgĩ wa Thiong'o. First performed in 1962 to mark Uganda's independence, it explores themes of African tradition, Christianity, nationalism, and individual freedom. Act 1. The play opens in a rural African village. We are introduced to the tribal community and its deeply entrenched customs. Thoni, a young woman, has been married to Remi's brother according to tribal custom. When the brother dies, tribal law dictates that Thoni must be inherited by another male member of the family, specifically Remi, her brother-in-law. Remi, however, has gone to the city to pursue education and a modern life. He is described as a brilliant young man who has turned his back on his tribe, its traditions, and even his religion. He now lives with a white girlfriend, Jane, in the city and has become what the community calls a hermit, isolated, self-observed, and detached from his roots. The elders and the tribal community are desperate. The tribe is suffering economically and spiritually, and they believe only Remi can save them. He is educated and capable of leading them politically and socially. The village pastor also represents Christian community's perspective, caught between traditional African customs and the new faith. Thoni is still deeply in love with Remi, having loved him even before she was married to his brother. He is sent by the tribe to the city to bring Remi back. The mission places her in an agonizing position, as she must appeal to the man she loves to return, knowing that his return will bind her to him through tribal obligation rather than genuine love freely given. Act 2. The scene shifts to the city. Remi is living with Jane, a white woman who represents the Western modern world he has embraced. Their relationship is comfortable but somewhat hollow. Jane senses that Remi is emotionally unavailable and haunted by something from his past. When Thoni arrives, the emotional tension escalates. She delivers the tribe's plea, begging Remi to return and fulfill his duty, to marry her according to the custom, to lead the tribe and to help them overcome their suffering. The meeting between Remi and Thoni is charged with suppressed feeling. It becomes clear that Remi has deep emotions for Thoni, but it is paralyzed by his own contradictions. He despises tribal traditions in principle, yet he cannot fully escape their emotional pull. Remi is also wrestling with a broader emotional and ideological conflict. He is a nationalist who believes in Pan-Africanism and the liberation of African people. Yet he rejects tribalism, which he sees as a backward and divisive force. He wants to serve Africa as a whole, not be reduced to a mere tribal figurehead. He also resents Christianity, viewing the church as a tool of colonialism that has done as much damage as tribal customs. Despite Thoni's appeal, Remi refuses to return. He clings to his city life and his relationship with Jane, though it is clear that his refusal is also rooted in guilt, fear, and unresolved feelings for Thoni. Jane, observing everything, realizes the depth of Remi's entanglement with his past and confronts him about it. The act ends with emotional unresolution. Remi has not yet committed to going back, yet he is visibly shaken. Act 3. The final act returns to the village and builds towards a tragic climax. The tribe, still waiting, grows increasingly desperate. The elders and the pastor debate the tribe's future and the role of tradition versus modernity and faith. Eventually, Remi does return to the village, but his return is too late and too compromised. He comes back not out of genuine love or a clean sense of duty, but after painful reflection. Still torn and half-hearted, he gives a passionate speech to the tribe denouncing tribalism and calling for a new modern African identity rooted in nationalism rather than narrow ethnic loyalty. He tells the tribe they must abandon the old customs that divide and oppress. It is a powerful ideological statement, but it lands coldly because it is delivered without warmth or personal accountability. The tragedy comes swiftly. Thoni, caught in an impossible position, still in love with Remi, unable to bear the weight of the tribal obligation, the shame, and the emotional rejection, takes her own life. Her death is the devastating consequence of collision between tradition and modernity, between individual desire and communal expectation. Remi is shattered by Thoni's death. He recognizes too late that his self-righteous rejection of tradition and his flight into ideology cost Thoni her life. He was so busy denouncing the system that he ignored the human being crushed by it. The play ends on a note of profound grief and ambiguity. Remi has liberated himself intellectually, but at enormous human cost. His hermit existence, his withdrawal from community, love and responsibility is exposed as not freedom, but a different kind of prison. Key themes discussed. 1. Tradition versus modernity, the central tension of the play, neither tribal custom nor Western modernity, is presented as entirely good or bad. Both are shown to harm individuals when applied rigidly. 2. Nationalism and Pan-Africanism. Remi represents the post-independence African intellectual who dreams of a unified Africa beyond tribalism. But Ngũgĩ questions whether ideology alone can substitute for human compassion. 3. The role of women. Thoni is the most tragic figure. She is passed between men by custom, denied agency, and ultimately destroyed by forces she cannot control. Her death is an indictment of patriarchal tradition, religion, and colonialism. The pastor figure highlights how Christianity, like tribalism, can be a trap, offering false consolation while failing to address real injustice. 5. Isolation and responsibility. The hermit of the title refers to Remi's self-imposed exile. Ngũgĩ suggests that true freedom is not withdrawal from one's community, but engaged, compassionate participation in it.